So Doctor Strange. So the film starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange. And I've got to say, being a big fan of the comic book of Doctor Strange, originally I was a bit optimistic, not really optimistic, but nervous because of Scott Derrickson being director. I'm not saying he's a bad director, mostly just because I'm just nervous of him taking on the project since he hasn't really been able to. Since I mean, he can do good films. I've just never seen him be able to do something good all the way through. But plus, he also has never done a PG-13 film except The Day There Stood Still, which wasn't the best. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is about a arrogant, cocky, neurosurgeon doctor named Stephen Strange, who basically one day he gets into an accident, which causes him to basically his hands to be broken beyond repair. He goes on like a journey of trying to get his hands refixed by traditional methods until he discovers a basically a group of monks who know magic. Well, not really magic. He doesn't know they know magic. And then finds and discovers a person known as the Ancient One, who who basically is told will be able to help fix his hands. What happens instead is that he is able to learn magic and also see light and also the universe in a different way. And in a way, this he is able to be getting away from his egotistical ways and be a better person. And also has to fight the forces of darkness. They're at the forefront of trying to take over the realms of the world. I know you're thinking I could have explained this in a better way, but at the same time, even though it's Doctor Strange is a very easy um character to explain. Basically, arrogant guy gets his hands broken because of getting into a car crash, and then discovers some monks who teach him um magic. It's sort of simple, but that's what it is. Basically, like Iron Man, but with magic. Which, until now, we've not really gotten magic in the MCU. And for what we get in this film, it's very good. Um, although some things, but this is just my thoughts. Don't get your magical sticks in a wad or your robes and not. But this is just my thoughts. But I thought the romance between Stephen Strange and Rachel and also basically just the romance in general. It was undeveloped, but then again, we don't really see the romance happen until like say at the beginning, and then like say the third act, and then it's not really much of a romance. It's basically just there. But then again, I'm not saying the actress didn't do a good job. Rachel McAdams didn't do a good job. She did the best what she could from the script that was given to her. I gotta say that one of the problems that they use have in the MCU films is like say villains being underwritten or not developed enough. I've got to say that the character Kalishin, I think how you pronounce his name, by Mad by Mad by Mads Eckelson. he was pretty good. I mean, he was like when you first see his character, he basically just shows up and says, "Where's this artifact?" Some guy says, "No, not giving it to you." Then basically he's his assist, not really his like lackeys, I suppose think, or his cohorts, hold the guy down, then then basically chop the guy's head off. Um, his appearance in the film was really good in that, mostly just because of his makeup. He looked very intimidating, so I thought he looked pretty cool. Um, he was there when he needed to be. So um, I thought Tilda Swinton as Ancient was pretty good, even though there was a bit of controversy and like her being changed to be a Celtic um to be a Celtic female who knows magic. I think it was the best decision. I mean, not saying that they should do that to any kind of character, all the characters now for the MCU, but it worked in the fact that the Ancient One, just like Ken Feige, in my opinion, now should be just be a title. It shouldn't just be like say, oh, all of it's now just an ancient Asian. Uh, has to always be done by an Asian male. But Tilda Swinton did a very good job as a very powerful, wise, but also sort of corrupt character in that she's been around for a long time using dark magic to keep herself alive. Um, some of the there was some things I thought was kind of weird or annoying, in the fact that say like some of the jokes kind of felt like well, okay, and like mostly just like the pop culture references, like say like when Stranger's talking to like say Wong and he says like so, you know about this female pop star? No, well come on. I mean, some of the jokes are funny, but at the same time, felt like nah, that was too cheesy, or no, that was annoying. It's a good film, but at the same time, there's some things that it just like does too much. Like they didn't really need the cheesy humor. I mean, it was fun when it had funny moments when it needed to be going away from the serious moments to like give a bit of like say calm the audience down to make sure they had some time to breathe, I suppose. But I thought the effects to help it to go with the aesthetic of Doctor Strange being a trippy, out of the world sort of influence that it has in the comics. I thought it was there. Could have been a bit trippier, but at the same time, it was a bit distracting in that whenever like you see like someone's about to fight, or you're like say you're seeing them just talking, you're seeing all this magic being performed in the background, or say changes into the surrounding environment. It does get you distracted from like say like oh this character's talking like but oh wait I want to look at all the environment stuff, I don't want to listen to what they have to say. It's you have to pick and choose like which you would prefer. Like, do you want to like watch the characters talk, or do you want to look at the things in the environment? The final act with Dormammu, when Strange is comes and says, "Hey, I want to make a deal with you," when he catches him in the time loop, I thought that was very I like that aspect instead of just like, and usually in the MCU they've always had this thing of like just fighting the villain and then suddenly they just I mean usually they've been tricking the character like saying, but then again that started with Guardians of the Galaxy, and that we see him the Guardians like just fight off against the villain just is like dancing and Ben just distracting him. Here's basically just him using the time loop and then just say, hey, if you don't go to Earth now, I will release you from this time loop. But you also gotta take fuck. I mean, Calicious, whatever. However you say the character's name. He's a good character, but at the same time, he was at times a bit goofy too, but he had his good, sinister moments. Um, Overall, I think the Doctor Strange is a good film. The only one negative thing I have to look back at and think though was that Doctor Strange, the character, he didn't seem like, even though you only see, like for the first 15 minutes, like say 10, or like say minutes or so, you only see him being a surgeon, and then you see him, when they go to the crash sequence of him in the car crash, the car crash does not look the best. It just looks, I mean, even though it's like spinning around circles, like gravity and all that, I mean, it just doesn't look the best. Like, even though it's like a new car as well, it just looks like it could have been done more better, I guess. Like you know, you could see what else is happening, I guess. Like, it just didn't look like it was, the crash was done well. And at the same time, some other negatives, you don't really can tell how long it's taking Strange to like know like, oh, it's taking him this long to perfect magic, cause like suddenly you see him um in Mount Everest and then having to just perfect a teleportation spell, and then suddenly like a few scenes later you see him getting a bunch of books by also using his astral form. So there's really no bit of detail like how powerful he's come and how what the time frame is exactly. But those are just a bit of my nitpicks. But overall, I've got to say Doctor Strange. It's a good film. Could have been a bit trippier, but at the same time, you have to take some things away to do that. But overall, it's a good film, and it's a good solo film of the MCU. But those are just my thoughts. Oh, I probably should give the score. I'm gonna say Doctor Strange is a B minus. It's good, has tiny flaws, but it's still a good film. But overall, that's just my thoughts. Hope you enjoyed. If you like Doctor Strange, what do you think about it? Have you seen it yet? What are your thoughts? Don't forget to put your comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.